before I get any further on this, I knew I was going to have to prepare a speech, so I asked my wife, for a little bit of help, and she just said, well, don't worry, don't be too intellectual, too charming, too witty, just be yourself. And so the only response I could give her is the one that works all the time, or at least it moves you forward a little bit in your relationships. I said, thank you, dear. But my initial days here in East Greenwich, as Bruce described, we came from California, and I lived all my childhood up there. We had moved from San Diego, San Francisco, back to San Diego, then we came here. And like Bruce said, I wasn't sure what I was in for. I remember when my mom took us to Ben Solomon's store downtown, and she was trying to find us some winter clothing, and you know how you get those flame stitch ski sweaters and stuff. And she bought one, and I thought, I just said to her, Mom, if I have to wear that, I'm in a lot of trouble. But in any case, the days at East Greenwich High School were just, like I say, they were just magical. We had the best teachers, Dominic Iannazzi, Sam Parenti. I had a little gift in the math area. Everything else was pretty much okay, let's put it that way. And on the athletic front, I was able to play in 3 sports. I'm not sure I would have been able to do that in California, but here it was just a blessing. Kind of spent a little too much time on the athletic side of things, but by the time I got to junior, senior year, I started knocking down. Got mostly A's and B's after that, but it was just the greatest atmosphere. No one wanted to miss a day. I mean, you just didn't want to be out sick or anything, because it was just so much fun to come to East Greenwich High School. And we were at the one on Archie Cole's Middle School now, I think is what it's called. But, this is a beautiful facility they built here in Nick Cacciari Field too. And getting to the coaches, Nick Cacciari he's a legend. He was our football coach, basketball coach. Just a great individual. Just spoke nothing about the importance of teamwork and sharing in your victories and your defeats as well. Artie Kershaw, he was the baseball coach. Just a great motivator. Artie was one guy that I could always talk to, and he would not only give me some tips on techniques and that thing, but on the motivational side, there was nobody like him. I should mention in '65, my senior year, we had the first undefeated football team. We were once tied. We had a co-championship with Westerly High School, and I think Bruce would admit we played into a 0-0 tie at Westerly. Back then, we didn't have playoffs or overtime. Just 8 games, that was it. We were 7-0-1, they were 7-1. But one of the unique things about Westerly that I found out later on was that when my father went through flight school in Pensacola, Florida, we met my mother there on beautiful beaches down there in 1942. And he told her that if he survived his deployment to England, he would come back and marry her. And true to his word, in 1944, he came back and married her in Westerly, Rhode Island. So the irony there is really something. As Bruce said, I went to Providence College and majored in mathematics. I went there because they also had this minor in computer science. And you think back in time, in 1965, that was just the beginning of computers, the importance of computers, mostly in the business area and somewhat in scientific endeavors. But Providence College had a minor in computer science where they taught programming and numerical analysis and things like that. So I went there, and I got out. Bruce mentioned the football things that I did there. I actually thought that I could try out for the for a professional team and with punting. But back in 1970, the NFL teams weren't drafting punters. And even when I graduated from East Greenwich High School, I thought I was did well enough to get a scholarship punting for a major university. But there again, you couldn't get scholarships just for punting. My professional career, I started at the University of Delaware in 1970, like 45 days after I graduated. I got a job on the academic computing center staff where I worked with a team of people, mostly PhD people. I was the only guy with a bachelor's degree, and we assisted the academic community. And I did a rather unique little program. I was a software engineer that actually analyzed football game data and generated reports and things like that. I thought that was one of the more creative things I ever did, and I did it right out of the box. But from there, I moved into more sophisticated skill sets. I moved into systems analysis, project management, and then in 1981, I formed a consulting business, Comp Basics Incorporated, with a good friend of mine, and we had that business for 17 years, and Bruce mentioned the clients that we had. I was mostly involved at the project management level, and we were doing major business enterprise level systems. We weren't doing small business applications or stuff like that. We were mostly interested in negotiating and doing deals with big companies. And we were able to do some really interesting projects and work for, as Bruce mentioned, we got IBM, AIG, and a few other companies. And as technology changed, I was having difficulty getting my company to change. Even though I was serving as a CEO and president, I had a couple other partners that were more interested in staying in the mainframe world and not moving on to the way technology was moving with World Wide Web and those types of applications, which are totally different than what we were doing. So I sold my interest to those partners in 1998, went to work with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Did 4 major engagements for them. One was Y2K, everybody remembers Y2K, big deal, overrated, right? Really, it wasn't overrated. It was really a very serious matter, and the fact that when the clock rolled over, major things didn't happen is really a tribute, I think, to the whole IT community. I remember on the Y2K project that I was doing down in Florida for a company called Farmerica, we actually had to do something outside the systems area, the pure business systems area. They had IV dispensing equipment that would shut on, shut off based on time parameters. So you can imagine if a dispensing device didn't stop dispensing because it had a rollover in the year and it couldn't handle it. So we had a vendor that had to come in and do some firmware changes and all that to make sure we didn't kill people. So there was some real serious ramifications if the Y2K ever didn't go well in the business community, for sure. I went from Pricewaterhouse to NCR. I did some work there in self-checkout systems. I think if you go to Home Depot today, and there are other stores that are doing it, Walmart has it now. I was working on the deployment of self-checkout systems for NCR in the UK and England for Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's is the second largest grocery chain over there. And we did a major deployment of all 620 stores in about 2.5 years. We completed that. And then Home Depot, I guess most of you are familiar with them, they made me if you will, to come work for them, get their self-checkout system deployed. And I spent 3 years on that effort, which really took a lot out of me. Home Depot is a pretty hard company to work for. But just to give you some parameters on that project, it was a $108 million budget. Since today it was implemented, the first store in 2003, I've estimated somewhere around 2.5 billion transactions, over $137 billion probably in sales through those 4 little machines, self-checkout machines that you see there. And then I finally retired the property company. I went back there in 2013. So it's been quite a ride. I saw and experienced firsthand the change in technology from mainframes to personal computers. And then what really changed the whole industry was as they were able to get more and more data on more and more smaller devices. That was another dimensional change that had major ramifications. And then finally we're seeing all the networking power and the ability to do all this streaming of data. That is just incredible. And now we have the ubiquitous phones. So it's been quite a ride, quite a wild ride, trying to keep up with all of that. But let me just say a couple things in closing here. I wouldn't be standing here, excuse me, but work for the Porsche family. My senior year, I actually, my family had moved to Oklahoma the summer after my junior year, and I was I was really not sure if I was going to finish my senior year. And actually, I stayed with Don Lionazzi in his apartment for 6 weeks until I could find a home. The Porsche family, Christine Porsche is here tonight. They took me in and made it happen. So I'm forever indebted to the Porsche family, and just wanted to get that out. And then my wife, Jane, 44 years, 37.3, I think, been very happy. Being in that position, 5.7 are okay, and 0.1 are in that other category I don't want to talk about. But anyway, just so thankful. She's been by my side for 44 years. Nights at home, lonely, raising our children. We have 3 beautiful girls, and 2 of them are at home back in Atlanta, taking care of very small movements. So I just want to thank the committee again. Appreciate it so much.